Hi everyone, welcome. I am doing a viewer request video. This is paint blending. So this was actually for a paint by number, but I'm kind of just going to show you on a blank canvas just to show you kind of how it works. It is the same thing if you were to blend it on a paint by number, but if I still need to show on a paint by number, I can do that as well. But for starters, I'm just going to show you a quick sunset blend. This is a real great quick tutorial I learned that I find fascinating, and it can also be translated to pencils, markers, anything like that. The technique is going to be the same no matter which medium you use. So even though this one has a little bit of black painted over it, this is the effect we're going to go for, this little blending here. I'm going to use these 4 basic colors. Obviously, depending on what you're looking for in your sunset, if you want more purple, more red, you will change up your colors. But I wanted to show you that these 4 basic colors are going to work for what you need. And this was all of $5 at Walmart. And then the canvas. And they are just Master Art canvases, 11 by 14 from my Walmart. Nothing fancy. Okay, so the first thing is I forgot to grab some water. Okay, water and paper towels are going to be an important part of this project. Even though it is blending, you're still going to kind of want to keep your colors separate, especially with yellow. Yellow is very sensitive. Okay, and then we're going to take a plate. This is not going to reactivate, so I can put paint over it, and it's going to be just fine. So I'm going to put these in a circle, and you're going to see why. So I'm going to put some purple. I'm going to leave a spot. I'm going to put some red. I'm going to leave a spot, and I'm going to put some orange. This will stain clothes if you get it on your clothes, heads up. Wipes pretty well off my kitchen table and my desk with water. Okay, so we want those spaces in between. Important. So we're going to start at the top. We want to put them in order around this plate. That's going to be also an important part. So we're going to start with purple. And what I like to do is I like to dunk my brush, and I like to just kind of mark. So I think if I go, I'm going to go probably 1.5 wide. And that is just so my blend stays kind of even all the way down the board. We don't want a huge gap of purple and a tiny spot of orange or anything like that. We kind of want them even. The other important thing with this is you're going to want your yellow to land right about in the middle. So something to keep in mind as you're going. If you want your sunset a little lower, like if you're doing some mountains at the bottom, you can move your yellow a little lower. It just depends on the project you're working with. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to go about 1.5, and then we're going to paint across. You do want to paint the sides of your board as you go. Being this project I'm just kind of doing on camera, I am not going to worry about it so much because it's not really for me, just showing. It does take a little bit to get the paint down into the tooth of that canvas, and you might even have to do second coats as you go. I'm gonna pull this down toward me just a little bit for a second because I can't see that far away, and I kind of want to make sure my line is even here. It doesn't have to be perfect, and this fuzzy edge is going to be just fine. You're going to see why. So I just kind of want that nice purple base at the top. Okay, so the next color, we are not going to jump to red. We are going to break off part of our purple. We are going to break off part of our red, and we are going to mix. Because the skies don't go straight from purple to red, right? They blend. The colors go together. So we're going to mix these two to get the color we're looking for. We're gonna make sure we have enough of it to do the whole little row. Going everywhere but where I want it to. Okay. You want to make sure you dot it out of your brush because it's not going to be mixed in your brush. As you can see, it's getting a lot of red and purple. Okay, and then we're going to start. And we're going to go over that purple a little bit, but not a lot. That's going to be our blend line. Sorry, I'm sliding all over the place trying to hold the paint plate at the same time. Okay, here we go. And we will work on that blend line, so don't come after my streakies just yet. You can either go through and put all your colors down first and come back and work on your blends, or you can blend as you go. Personal kind of preference. So I'm going to add a little purple, and I'm going to go back over that wet paint I just put down. Wet on wet. I don't want to drag that red all the way up to the top, but I want that line to disappear. Bring a little purple down, just like that. Okay, now this is going to be the part where you want to clean your brush. I'm going to add a little purple right here. I feel like this purple is not my favorite, but we're going to roll with it. No, and my kitty is over here trying to help dump my water cup, so we're going to move that. I have one of those cats that's obsessed with knocking everything over. Now she's going to sit right in front of me. Okay, make sure she's not blocking anything on camera here. Okay, just cleaning all that purple out of my brush. And then we're going to start with red. Not red, purple, red. So we're going to go right up against that line. We're going to try to keep our 1.5. We're going to roll with it. This background is great because you can do so many things with it. You put silhouettes over it, you know, any kind of silhouette if you want fishing, if you want animals, if you want islands, anything like that. And it's very simple. And acrylic goes over so well. So, okay, I'm going to come down a little right here because it's kind of looking like my line is starting to bow. I don't want a U shape. Okay, same principle. We're going to take some red, we're going to take some orange, and we're going to mix. We want to make sure these orange and this red do not look the same, or it's going to look like you have one really big orange line on your painting. So we want to make sure we have a little bit more orange in it than red, and it's mixed up real well. Whoa, and I splattered. Don't do that. Don't copy me. It's kind of hard to do holding up on camera. Adding a little more orange. Just want to make sure when I look at it that it's more orange than red. Obviously I don't want it to match my orange either, but we want that distinctive. Okay, we're going to mark 1.5, 1.5, and we're going to blend. Blend, 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 blend. I'm still recording here. I'm on screen. I know I'm a little sideways. It's hard to paint this straight. I guess I should have turned my camera a little before I started. I didn't realize. Okay, and then if it's looking too much like your top color, which I kind of think it is, I'm not loving it. I'll show you a quick trick here. Trick, maybe. I'm just going to take this red and a tiny dot of purple, tiny dot, just enough to darken it, just a dot. We don't want it to match our other blend. Just want to darken this red down one tone. And I dropped water on it. Oh, I'll have to fix that when it dries, which will be a good example of how forgiving acrylic is. So I guess that works out well. Didn't even see I dropped it. Just darkening that red one tone so it blends a little. Just going back up my blend when my paint is still wet. So I don't have to color match. Also the great thing about acrylic, quick drying. All right. So if that's still pretty blendy or not blendy, depending on what we're going for, we will fix it on the way back up. Everything is dried and we can blend. Wipe a little water out of the brush. Two colors just look so close together. I guess I should have stuck to paint I knew. Maybe we can sneak a little red over the top. Try to break it up. Don't know if it's gonna work, but we will try. Okay. Okay, so this next gap is gonna be a little bigger because it is my yellow. So make sure you have a clean. Actually, no, it is not. It's going to be my orange. So clean brush. Because I haven't done my orange yet. So orange. Just looking perfectly orangey. Just my red orange is hiding me a little. Okay. So we're making sure we're going 1.5. I am a little wild with it. It's coming out very yellow when I smear it, which is interesting because I haven't touched yellow yet. Kind of like the effect anyway. All right. Now, same thing, break off some orange, break off some yellow, even though that came out very yellow when I wiped it. Am I on camera with my mixing here? I use a little more yellow. I really want this to be more yellow than orange. Remember, if you add white, you're gonna get like a milky, I mean, it'll be a lighter color, but it's gonna have a different feel to it. So white is not always the answer to making the next lightest color. Nope, a little more yellow. I think we're gonna go yellow. Just a tiny dot of orange. That's what we're gonna do. These paints kind of don't follow the rule of even proportions because they're not coming out. There we go. Okay. I will probably come back and put yellow over that, so I'm not too worried. I would have liked this orange to stay a little oranger. I might come back and do orange over. But we are blending anyway. Okay, cleaning brush. Make sure it's super clean to go into my brightest yellow, because any little bit of any other color is going to turn that yellow splatter it all over the paper again. All right. Okay, straight yellow. Pick from my cleanest spot of the yellow. And I'm a little lower than center, but that's all right. It's still gonna work out. I don't even know what I'm painting over this yet, so. Got a little yellow drifting up, but that's okay. It's up to you if you want to keep your yellow the same, a little whiter. I usually go a little whiter, just because it's usually mountains and stuff at the bottom or something of the type. Starting to get that U again, so I'm going to go in right here. Make sure everything. Okay, and then now that I have been through my palette, I'm going to work my way back around backwards. So I'm at yellow. I'm going to take this yellow orange. And it's really up to you if you want to do this bottom part. Like I said, depends on what you are gonna put over it. Water blends work kind of the same way, depending on the effect. So that's always good to know. We're gonna go into that orange. I'm not really worried about the bottom because I know it's gonna be black. So just in case any peeks through, we want that blend to be there. That's why we do it like this first, in case you didn't know. Okay, I'm going to turn this for just a second. It's really hard for me to see. I am just going to kind of make sure that I don't have any lines in my blending. And the more you go back and over this with your brush, the more it's going to blend. That red is starting to show up pretty good. So I think I will leave it alone. Maybe a little work up here in the purple area. A little purple and a little red. It's kind of like coloring. You don't want any lines in it. You don't want any lines in your blending. You want that real smooth appearance. And if you feel like it's too dry, take a tiny drop of water. Run it across there. Will not hurt a thing. So I'm going to do this purple again. This purple really feels like it's fighting me. Oh! And don't stick your fingers in it. Forgot what I was doing. I haven't cleaned my brush, so my colors are all very still on here. I just wanted to work on this spot a little. There, that's feeling better to me. Alright. Alright, now I gotta fix this spot I stuck my finger in, and I'm going to pause this for a minute, and then when I come back we will throw some black over it and see what happens. See you in a few. Alright, here we go. It is a little wet still, but when I set it down, my cat decided she was going to rub up against it, so now I have hair in it. So now we're just going to play with a little bit of different techniques. You can draw in with a pencil. Obviously mine is still wet, but if that is something you want to do, pencil works great. I don't know if you can use a chalk pencil. Chalk pencils work. So then I just take black. Apple Barrel and Folk Art is my go-to acrylic paint, just in case you were curious. I just wanted to use these Simply brands because they are readily available to everybody at a fairly low price. I'm not sure I'm completely happy with them, but they did do the job. So okay, I'm gonna take my big brush and I'm just gonna paint right over everything. I'm just gonna randomly, we don't want it completely smooth, but I'm gonna put trees, so it's not gonna matter anyway. Just getting that layer of black down so it can be drying as well. One thing about acrylic paintings like this is there is a lot of wait and dry time in between steps. So I hope this video was helpful. This last part isn't really what we were going for. We were just going for the sky blend, but now I have a half done canvas. So I figured I would show you a couple things. Stencils work great on these, but really silhouettes are kind of what I like to do. They look fancy to me. Making sure I get all of that orange covered. We don't want no sunset peeking out of our dirt. That would look weird. Might be showing through on camera a little more than I can see right now. That's alright. Making sure to get our edges. Okay, we're gonna have a little hill. We don't want it completely smooth. Kind of what I like to do to put in my rougher parts. Just to go like this. Seems to work well. Like I said, I'm going to put in some trees, so I'm not incredibly worried. We are going to go up the sides a little. It's a little straight. Goodness. Oh man, don't drop your brush. That is not what we do. Okay. Okay, and then again, you will have to wait for your paint to dry. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of do one of these numbers randomly. Like I said, I'm not doing this for show. I'm just kind of showing you the different things you could do. We're going to make this a fat tree. If you wanted to come in with white, put your moon in, you could do that. White will go over. You can make them cactus if you want. Put in a deer, whatever floats your boat. I'm going to take one of these fan brushes. I used to use these to wipe eraser dust and glitter off my page, but you can also dunk them in paint. Decide if you want your tree to go up or down. I'm going to go up. That tree is going to be kind of a mess because I switched, but I wanted to show you it was optional. You can go out a little more, kind of however you want to. I really like doing trees with this brush. Go down one side, down the other. So many options of things you can do. There are better painting tutorials on YouTube, I'm sure of it, if it is something that sparks your interest. But like I said, if you have a coloring book page with this background and you want to add a little something, just take your little fan brush and fill you in a tree. Now, that was a little wild, but yeah, so there's that. You can do the treetop however you want. But yeah, that is going to be the basics of painting in trees. Just trying to use up my paint now. Whoa, don't drag, don't drag. Dot and go, dot and go. No dragging. Should be able to fix that though when I get the other brush back out. Again, you don't want to stab it down hard and fray your brush. Are we still on camera here? Okay, barely. You can also do them down the side. So it looks like there's a tree peeking onto the page. If that is something you like the looks of, or if you need like a framing idea. Don't brush. You do want to get a little smaller toward the top. And then you can just add a tree trunk in at the bottom there. Fix this tree trunk a little right here. Add one maybe like this. Alright, so I am going to end it there. It was just a fun little play thing. I thank you for watching. I hope this helped. To Heather, who requested this video, I thank you so much for commenting and participating. Give me ideas of things to show, and I hope to see you guys next video.